at all by giving speech evaluations? Or are you someone who sees the value and just wants to get better at delivering impactful speech evaluations? Steph Wise understands the importance of giving great feedback and has honed this skill over the years as a Toastmaster. She even made it to the district stage competing in the speech evaluation contest. She is here to take us through a presentation set out by Toastmasters International from the Successful Club series to equip us with some guidance to improve our speech evaluations. Please help me welcome Steph Wise to take us through an educational titled Evaluate to Motivate.
The Successful Club series is a set of presentations that Toastmasters outlines to address quality meetings in our club. As we know, as Toastmasters, one of the important components of a quality meeting is feedback. And with that is speech evaluations, because regardless of what stage we're at, if we're just starting our career in Toastmasters, if we're an experienced speaker, we need to have that baseline to be able to improve, to know what things we can improve on, but also have motivation to keep going. So evaluations are really important, and not just to the speaker, but there's other beneficiaries as well. The audience members can learn from the feedback that's given. Maybe they can incorporate some of the tips and tricks that are provided in the evaluation in their own speech. The evaluator also develops skills by listening and impromptu speaking and being able to give feedback. And of course, as speakers, we have the opportunity when we're evaluated to receive feedback, to identify things that we can improve on for our next speech, to know if we're achieving objectives, to be encouraged and to feel appreciated for what we're doing as a speaker, and building and maintaining self-esteem. Imagine, if you can all think back to when you did your icebreaker, how did you feel after your evaluator evaluated you? Did you feel good? Did you feel encouraged to come stand up, sign up for your next speech? Or were you left feeling like, oh, I don't know if I can do this anymore, right? So it's important to address the benefits of the speakers, but also to acknowledge the benefits of everybody in Toastmasters by learning how to do effective evaluations. Now, how we do this is by Toastmasters standards and Toastmasters norms is the tell-sell approach. When the evaluator talks, when the evaluator is actually delivering their talk, everyone's listening. It's not necessarily a dialogue where it's a back and forth Q&A of questions. The evaluator prepares a mini speech and delivers it at a club meeting. So when the evaluator talks and the speaker listens. How to evaluate effectively. So before the speech, this is preparation, right? Talking with the speaker about the manual objectives and what their evaluation guidelines are. There's something really handy in Free Toast Hosts when we select the project that we're doing when we're signing up on the agenda. It actually populates the evaluation resource right there. And so for you as an evaluator, taking the time to go and look at what objectives the speaker has and what they're going to be delivering a speech about, which project, what are they working on, what are they hoping to achieve, is a way that you can prepare as a speech evaluator so you know exactly what you're going to be looking for. And are there any concerns, right? Does the speaker have something specific that they want to address? Do they have crutches? Do they use their notes a lot? Do they stop and kind of get stuck silently? Is there anything in particular that the speaker is looking to work on based on their style and their level of expertise? Now, sorry.
I'm so sorry to interrupt, but do you have slides? Because I don't think we're seeing the right slides. We're just seeing your files folder at the moment.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, I can see them in front of me. Interesting.
Not sure. Yeah, we're just seeing your files folder.
Oh, weird. Okay, let me try that again. I tested it earlier. Okay, let's see if this works now. Can you see now?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, sorry about that, guys. What's on my screen is what I thought you guys were seeing. So I guess there's a glitch maybe when you're trying to open folders. The thing with the Toastmasters slide is they're view only. And so you can't really have it open before, if you know what I mean. if you've ever shared files on Zoom before. So so I talked about before the speech, talking with the speaker about their objectives, looking for the evaluation resource and free toast. Is there anything specific that they're looking to achieve or that they're personally trying to work on? Showing that you're interested during the speech. This is really important, right? There's a difference between taking notes, which, especially when we're new evaluators, is like we're trying to scribble down everything that we're seeing and hearing and feeling. But it also can take away from absorbing the message of the speaker. And so what I suggest for this part is have maybe a sheet laid out in front of you where you have like plus and minus or intro and 1, 2, 3 conclusion, kind of an outline where you can just scribble out some words, triggers, so that when you go to write your notes up for your evaluation, you've got a good guideline, but not too much that it's been distracting for you to take away from the speech. And a couple things to look out for, because sometimes it's hard, especially when we're new evaluators, or we have someone who's really experienced at speaking, to know exactly what to look for. And so I remember when I was learning how to do evaluations, I always thought about some categories of things to watch out for. Vocal variety, voice variety. Was there any? Was it effective? Was it used to enhance their message? Did they use it effectively? Or could you barely hear them? Look for those things that really identify you as something that they could improve or something that they did really well. Movement. Do they use gestures? In this case, it's like we're in this little box, but we don't really have stage presence where I'm, leaving the screen or what have you. Maybe there could be instances where that would be effective. Movement, hand gestures, using the stage. Language, is it easy to understand? If it's something a little bit more technical, do they use descriptive words? Are they good at telling a story and putting together adjectives that really drive their message home? Organization, how was it organized? What was the flow of ideas? Did you see clearly the structure of their speech? Did it flow seamlessly? Did they tie things together in the end with a nice, powerful conclusion? And appeal. Was it something that you could relate to? Was it interesting content? Did it leave you with a call to action or inspire you to think or to act in a different way? So during the speech, you can keep those things in the back of your mind as really easy things to watch out for or to highlight, so that you can learn how to put together some of these cues apart from just the objectives of the speech, but in general, their speech delivery and their content and everything that comes in the whole package. So showing you're interested, not getting too distracted with your notes, is the important piece about paying attention and making sure that you're engaged while the speaker is speaking. During your evaluation. So this is really important to personalize. This is your own perspective. It's your own opinions in how you felt, in how it impacted you, in what you saw and what you heard. Choosing your words carefully in your language is extremely important, especially when we're evaluating newer Toastmasters. We need to make sure that we're encouraging and we're motivating and we're using language that supports their development, not saying words like you didn't or you should have or you failed to, but rather emphasizing, that your reaction was this and you made me feel like this, and I think your speech could be enhanced if you ... Choosing the right words to encourage and lift them up. What you saw, what you heard, what you felt. And a good little tip as far as a format of your evaluation, and when you're writing your notes and you're putting it together to deliver an effective evaluation, do you have an intro, right? Are you setting the stage? Does your intro tie back into the speaker's speech? Was there something that really spoke to you, that grabbed your attention? What were their objectives? What were you paying attention to? And then the content of the speech, the body. I always like to use a sandwich example, right? You start with the positive. If it was good, why was it good? Then you have a constructive piece, not just pointing out something that they missed or that they could do better, but showing them how to improve it is the big thing. It's not enough to say, yeah, you should have used your notes less. you really, take it a step further and, hey, I noticed you used your note, you relied on your notes quite a bit. For next time, what I might suggest is instead of reading them, put them down, glance at your notes, and then talk about what point you wanted to say. Can you see the difference in how that specific piece of feedback would vary between two evaluators, right? So being specific and showing the how, and then ending with a positive. What stood out for you? What was that underlying message that really, made you feel great about what they had to say? You want to make sure you're evaluating the speech and not the person. Sometimes the content of speeches that are delivered can, present some bias or judgment if they're not in alignment with our own beliefs. So you want to make sure that you have an unbiased perspective and you're evaluating how they delivered their speech and what was the impact for you, and not necessarily what the message was. So not related to the content, but more on the delivery and how effective they are at delivering speeches. And promoting self-esteem, of course. So encouraging this and inspiring the speaker to come again and to sign up for their next speech in the way that it's delivered and in the words that you use, and constructive criticism, and always making sure to end your evaluation positively. Always end on a positive note. Okay. The other thing to remember is you'll want to avoid being disingenuous. So honest evaluations are upbeat, encouraging, while offering suggestions for improvement. Don't say it wasn't great if it wasn't great, right? People can see through the feedback that is genuine and honest versus not. So you want to make sure that you are being truthful with the things you're saying, because it's not helping anybody if you say, yeah, great job, if they really, butchered their speech. So there are tactful ways to say that, to be still encouraging, but don't say something that's not true, or just because you're trying to fill the evaluation space. In closing, the closing is really important because you want to connect to your opening statement. You want to summarize your points. You want to encourage the audience to learn from your speaker as well, like saying something like, we can all learn from this example where Camille shared da 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 da. And what's the bigger picture? Is there a bigger picture message? Is there a call to action? Is there something that inspires you to think a little bit differently, or something that you're going to do as a result of the speech? Summarizing your key points. You can give a personal story or example. Sometimes that can be distracting. You really want to focus on the speech itself, and encouraging listeners, again, to apply what they learned and they heard, and ending, of course, on a high note. So that, my friends, fellow Toastmasters, is the Successful Club series, Evaluate to Motivate. I hope that you have found this helpful and you will use some of these tips and tricks to make sure that your evaluations are effective and encouraging. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Steph. That was very educational, inspirational. I've always felt when you give me an evaluation after a speech that